Let's talk about you, me, and UV. What a bloody threesome that is. Welcome, you legends and heliheads, you choppers and stick bangers and subscribers, wonderful people they are, and indeed the passers-by. Clicky, clicky, swipey, swipey. Are you going to hang around or are you going to move on? Make your mind up. Now, recently, Peter from RCHelicopterHub put out a fantastic video about ultraviolet light and the effect on canopies of his helicopters in his fleet. You can see that video up there. I'll link it in the main description down there, and I'm going to put a cutout of the video over there while I'm talking. It's a really good video and the production value is fantastic, as it always is over at RCHelicopterHub. Please don't expect production value like that here. I've got an IQ of 3 and I'm the one that does the editing.
I'm stupid!
But as I said, it did inspire this video because it made me raise the question, well, what do my own helicopters at Heli Shed, in the Heli Shed Hangar, in the Heli Shed Fleet, in the Heli Shed Squadron, the girls, how do they react under ultraviolet light? So that's what this video is all about. Before we flick the UV switch to see the girls under ultraviolet light and give them a score out of 5, I think it's important that we augment Peter's video, and indeed this video, with a little explanation of what ultraviolet light is all about. Plus, of course, I've done some research, and you know what? I need to just brain dump this and then forget about it forever. Anyway, I'm no scientist, obviously. I'm an idiot that flies helicopters, and not very well either. So, I'm going to aim to give you an explanation of what ultraviolet light is all about. I'm no scientist. If I'm wrong, mention it in the comments below so that other people benefit from it. Simple as that.
I can do science, me.
Here goes, wish me luck. Good luck. Well, thanks, love. The electromagnetic spectrum is a range measurement system of various natural aspects and laws of the cosmos. This ranges from gamma rays, X-rays, light, which includes invisible and visible light, radio waves and microwaves, and they're all dotted in various bands along the electromagnetic spectrum. What is interesting about gamma rays, I'm not talking about Bruce Banner there either.
The gamma's too high! Bruce, I can't stop it!
Harper, get out! Get out! Enough! You are all of you beneath me. I am a god, you dull creature. And I will not be bullied by that.
And X-rays and microwaves and radio waves is that they all travel at the speed of light, as does light itself. But the only area that we've got interested in is light, which is pretty quick. And I don't care how quick your car is, you ain't going to be going at the speed of light now, are you?
Prepare ship for light speed.
No, light speed is too slow.
Light speed too slow?
Yes, we're gonna have to go right to ludicrous speed.
But back to the band in the electromagnetic spectrum called light, and that's what we're going to be talking about now. Light is measured in a metric known as nanometers. Sounds like a robot to me.
You are no match for my powers. Surrender now.
Nanometers is a direct correlation to the wavelength. We're not talking about Hawaii and a surfboard, no.
Book 'em, Dano.
We're talking about I don't think it makes that noise, to be honest. The range using nanometers as a metric is from 0 all the way up to 700, and various aspects of visible and invisible light have bands within that range of 0 to 700. Quite simple, you're still with me? Right at the very beginning is 0 to 200 nanometers, and that specific band or area is known as ultraviolet in a vacuum. Now, this is ultraviolet that's zipping around up there in space and will really give you a bad day if you come across that as an astronaut without some form of filter across your helmet, your suit is specially prepared and so on. It is pretty lethal stuff, ultraviolet in a vacuum. From 200 nanometers to 280 nanometers is an area known as ultraviolet C. Now, This is again really nasty aspect of ultraviolet, but you know what? Down on Earth we're lucky because we've got the Earth's atmosphere. We've got the troposphere, the stratosphere, the atmosphere in general, and that pretty much protects us from ultraviolet C down on the Earth here. Ultraviolet C is also something that we manufacture down on Earth to give us protection from germs, and we use medical experiments. No, we don't use medical experiments. We use ultraviolet C to sterilise medical instruments. We also utilise ultraviolet C in our pond filters to destroy all those nasty microbes away from our koi. Ultraviolet C is nasty, and it will burn you up and give you cancer and all sorts of nasty stuff. Stay away from ultraviolet C. Really quite bad for you.
That must have hurt.
From 280 nanometers to 315 nanometers is what we call ultraviolet B. Ultraviolet B is also very nasty, but again, we're protected by the Earth's atmosphere. Hallelujah. You wouldn't want to face off with ultraviolet B. You won't win.
You lose! Good day, sir!
Then comes the last part of invisible light, which is ultraviolet A. From about 315 all the way up to 400 nanometers. This is ultraviolet light that turns a pasty old face like this into a bronze god. This is what we go searching for in Tenerife, Benidorm and Marbella. We use sun cream to protect ourselves, mainly from ultraviolet A. And for those of you who can't be bothered to get on a plane and go to Spain and you lie under a sunbed, well, guess what? About 380 nanometers, that is ultraviolet A. Have too much of it and it will ruin your day. You'll look like an orange. That brings us all the way up to 400 nanometers. Now, from 0 to 400, all that aspect of ultraviolet is invisible. You can't see it. Great. Stuff you can't see that wants to kill you. Brilliant. Marvellous. Nature. Don't you just love it?
I love this tree.
Now, at 400 nanometers, you get into visible light, right up to about 700 nanometers. And that light has various bands along there. Now, I'm not going to go into nanometers now, but I will tell you the sequence of events when it comes to the colour. Now, guess what the first colour is? If we've just gone through ultraviolet and visible, what do you think is the next one? Ultraviolet, but it's right at the very beginning of visible light, and therefore we call it black light or dead light, because it borders invisible and visible light. But nonetheless, it's right at the very beginning. Next colour is blue, then it goes into green, then an orangey yellow, and then finally, right at the very top of the nanometer range is red with 700 nanometers. Beyond that, you have various other aspects of red. Warm red glow out of a bulb that keeps your lizards warm, right into infrared up to about 780 nanometers. And that is the invisible and visible light spectrum. Congratulations, you've just got a GCSE in physics. I can do science, Steve. Well, I don't know about you, but I feel a damn sight better now I've got all that off my chest, and you've got it now. You own it. Do what you like with it. Go on, off you go. Go write a paper. So that's the story of ultraviolet and why ultraviolet light in the visible spectrum has such an effect on other colours and makes it react the way it does. But what we're going to do now, turn the lights off, we'll turn the ultraviolet on and see how these react. We're going to score them out of 5. And we're going to start with Bella. And there they are, my wonderful girls. Right, we're going to turn all the LED lights off and ultraviolet on. Beautiful, look at them. I've got 2 ultraviolet LED strips, one at the bottom here and one up at the top here. Let's have a look at Bella first off. Whoa, look, nothing is showing up on Bella whatsoever. Nothing at all. So you know what, Bella, you score 1. Now going over to Rosie, the aligned T-Rex 760X, and we can see the canopy there. We've got some LED glare, but actually there's no reaction to ultraviolet apart from the landing skids. You can see the heli clips there, they are reacting, but nothing on the canopy, nothing on the blades. You can see the fluorescent tape that I put along the boom, that is certainly lighting up, but nothing else there. So you know what, Rosie, 1 point. Moving on to Phoenix, the aligned T-Rex 700X. Now, again, there is some glare from the LED light, but actually the colours on the canopy are not reacting to LED. We can see here the word align, that certainly is reacting, and the landing skids too. But when we come back and we look at the blades, well, the blades really do react to ultraviolet light, which is fantastic. And likewise with the fluorescent tape along the boom coming down to the tail fin and the tail blades, you can see they have really reacted. So it really is glowing quite well. So you know what? We're going to give Phoenix 2 points. Now onto the queen of the sky, the SAB Genesis Uruk-hai 747. And let me tell you, this is almost burning me eyeballs out. We can see the green on the canopy here, air intakes, top of the canopy, and all the way down the boom. She looks absolutely fantastic, really, really glowing well. Sadly, nothing on the blades at all. The blades just look black. She's going to get a 3. 3 out of 5 for Eve. Moving on to Mildred, who I've yet to introduce you to properly on the channel. But just look at her. My God, sunburst orange. Her boom and her canopy, really, really nice. Mildred is an SAB 700 competition. She's about 12 years old. She's an old girl. I just love the canopies and the way these helicopters look. But she looks really, really good. I'm going to give her a 3 as well to equal Eve. So Mildred scores 3. And now onto the SAB Kraken 700 3-blade tail and main, otherwise known as a KSE, a Carl Stacey edition. Dawn. Areas of the canopy which are darkened, I think, highlight the areas which glow so well, all the way down her, all the way to her bottom. But she is glowing really, really well, really bright as well. The brightest of all the fleet, no question, even brighter than Mildred. Dawn is just cleaner. It's a cleaner glow, whereas Mildred has got faded areas, etc. So you know what? I'm going to give Dawn a 4 out of 5. The one thing I noticed whilst doing that little exercise was the glow that we were getting from the LED lights on the canopies.
Hello legends, it's me in editing. Now, the reason why we were getting bleed over or reflection on the canopy is because the canopy and fuselage is gloss. That's why Eve and Dawn just shone up so well, because they are a matte finish. So, if you want the really very best ultraviolet reflective characteristics of all your colours on your canopies and fuselages, make sure it's matte.
Let's turn the ultraviolet lights off and let's see how this does. Oh my goodness, I nearly broke my neck trying to get into position in the pitch black. But here we go, I'm going to flick the switch. Oh wow. Now we're in a different place altogether now, aren't we, with this ultraviolet light. My God, it'll give you a sunburn, that will. But now we can really see. Look at the blades on Phoenix. Look at the blades on Phoenix. And obviously the glow on the boom there. Absolutely fantastic. Likewise with Eve. Eve really is shining now. Likewise with Dawn and with Mildred. Sadly, Bella is only reflecting the visible part of the ultraviolet light. There is nothing on her that is glowing up. Although actually, I think actually, you know, the decals here and also the white part of the wheel. But other than that, oh look, and you can actually see the LED inside the wing light there is also glowing. But apart from that, there's nothing on her whatsoever. So if you have a helicopter like we have here, the two aligned T-Rexes, the 760X and the 700X, but they don't glow, and you want them to glow, well, what can you do about it? Well, let's find out. Over on the desk here, we can see these tapes. I'm going to come out because I'm causing a shadow, and you can see just how bright these shine up. So we can use these tapes. These are really cheap. You can buy from Amazon. Just put a search in for ultraviolet tape. It's cloth. It comes in various different thicknesses, and ultimately means that you can put them on your canopy, put them on your boom. When you put ultraviolet on your helicopters, they'll glow up. However, there's no point putting this tape on your helicopters if you're flying your helicopters in low light thinking it's going to help you. It's not. and we don't see in ultraviolet. So ultimately this is purely for aesthetics, wherever it is that you have your helicopters, whether that's in a cupboard under the stairs or whether that's in a heli shed. So this is solely aesthetics and not really practical for flying. That, however, this is luminous tape, and you can see it is just as bright as yellow is under ultraviolet. And if I was to turn the ultraviolet lights off, there we go. I don't see any ultraviolet tape there, do you? I do, however, see some luminous tape, and I don't know whether this is coming out on the camera or not, but I can tell you that is pretty bright. Now this is also cheap stuff that you can get from Amazon, and you know there's a fair amount here. Just a little bit of this on your helicopter will enable you to have far better vision in low light, so get yourself some. There we go, legends. Hope that was useful. A look at ultraviolet. You've learned something in today. I hope so anyway, because I've now transferred all of that knowledge to you. I've forgotten it all already. Ultraviolet, there's an awful lot of that that's invisible, and you know what? It's out to hurt you. But the bit that you can see borders invisible and visible light at about 390 nanometers onwards, and that is why colours react to it so well. Really, it doesn't really help us when it comes to being able to identify our helicopters when we fly them. We don't see in ultraviolet, and ultimately all you're going to see is, you know, coloured tape. It's going to have no different than any other type of tape. You're better off using fluorescent tape because that will shine up better than ultraviolet tape like this. Or of course use, as we saw, the luminous tape, you know, all fairly cheap from Amazon. And yeah, that will help you in orientation, particularly if you're on that journey of being able to perfect your 3D sport flying style. You know, use tape to be able to help you see your helicopter, along with all the other areas of radio control lighting that I've covered in that playlist up there. Hope that was useful. Hope that was meaningful. I enjoyed it. Hope you did. Look forward to the next video then, where we'll be talking about ionising radiation. No, I'm joking. I couldn't handle that. Jesus Christ.